You get a subpoena. You get a subpoena.
They said it was an accident. They said the timeline added up. They said there was nothing more to investigate. They were wrong. And now we know it. 3 months ago, the official story seemed airtight. A woman vanishes from a locked apartment. Security footage shows her leaving at 6:47 p.m. A witness places her near the bridge at 7:15. Case closed. Or so they said. But last week, a digital forensics team uncovered something that wasn't supposed to exist: hidden metadata from a second camera feed. Never disclosed, never preserved, never mentioned in the original police report. That camera tells a very different story. Sit with that for a second. For 90 days, an entire investigation operated on incomplete information. Not because records were lost. Not because technology failed. Because nobody asked the right questions hard enough.
You know, you hear it all the time. You know, people's memories change, right?
And here's the thing, fam. That's exactly how cases go cold. Not with a bang, but with convenient silence. Her name was Jennifer Hartley. 28 years old. Marketing director. Lived alone in a downtown high-rise. The kind of person who texts her mother every Sunday. On August 12th, she stopped texting. She stopped showing up. She stopped existing in any way that mattered to the official narrative. Within 48 hours, police released a statement: voluntary disappearance. No foul play suspected. Low priority for active investigation. The media barely picked it up. Her family got a case number and a detective who seemed more interested in closing files than opening them. Think about that. A woman vanishes, and the response is to assume she just left. But her mother knew better. Her name is Susan Hartley, and she did what desperate people do when institutions fail them. She started asking questions nobody wanted to answer. The first question was simple: where exactly did Jennifer go? The official timeline relied on 3 pieces of evidence. The security footage from the building's main lobby. The only feed the police initially reviewed. The witness statement from a neighbor who claimed to see Jennifer heading toward the parking garage. And cell phone records showing her last location ping at 7:22 p.m. near the waterfront district. All of it pointed to one conclusion: Jennifer left voluntarily. Case closed. Except here's what wasn't disclosed. What wasn't even properly documented. What might have stayed hidden forever if Susan Hartley hadn't hired a private investigator willing to actually work. The building didn't have one camera. It had 6. 6 different feeds covering the lobby, the elevators, the hallways, the parking garage, the service entrance, and, here's the one nobody mentioned, the roof access stairwell. 5 of those feeds were archived. According to the police report, one was allegedly corrupted, but corrupted files leave traces, digital traces, metadata, timestamps, and when the Hartley family's investigator ran those servers through a real forensic analysis, they found something remarkable: those files weren't corrupted. They were deleted, deliberately, systematically, by someone with administrative access to the building's security system. Think about that. Not lost, not accidentally overwritten, deleted, which means someone made a choice. Someone knew what was on those feeds and decided the world shouldn't see them. Now the official story started to crack. If those cameras were disabled or their footage removed, then the timeline everyone accepted, the one police used to close Jennifer's case, was built on a foundation of missing information. A house of cards constructed by people who either weren't thorough enough or didn't want to be. The private investigator didn't stop there.
Dispatch records are harder to argue with than memories. Witnesses can misremember times and conversations, call logs, recordings, and dispatch.
He subpoenaed the building's server logs, the IT maintenance records, and the access credentials for anyone with administrative privileges. What he found was chilling. The deletions happened on August 13th, the day after Jennifer disappeared. Not a week later. Not months later. The day after. Someone was in a hurry. But here's where it gets worse. The police report never mentioned the existence.
If these records are potentially important to reconstructing Nolan's final hours, it's fair to ask
of additional cameras. Never mentioned deleted files. never mentioned the suspicious timing. The detective assigned to the case had reviewed the building's security system, seen the server logs, and apparently decided none of it was worth investigating further. Either he was incompetent, or he was something else entirely. Susan Hartley asked the questions everyone.
It is not narrowing. It's expanding. The family
Should have asked from the start. Who has access to that security system? Who deleted those files? And most important,
this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. The biggest question is, who made the decisions?
what were they trying to hide? The building's IT manager was a man named Thomas Chen. For 8 years, he maintained the security infrastructure. He had the passwords. He had the access. He had the motive, or at least, investigators needed to determine if he did. But when detectives finally contacted him, weeks after the Hartley family's investigator had already identified him, Chen claimed he knew nothing about deleted files. He claimed the server problems were routine maintenance. He claimed he had no connection to Jennifer and no reason to interfere with security footage. He claimed a lot of things.
Records matter. Don't speculate when documentation may provide an answer.
And without the recovered metadata, without the clear timeline of deletion, without pressing the investigation when it mattered most, the police had nothing to contradict him. This is institutional failure at its purest. Not a conspiracy, necessarily. Just negligence wearing a badge. A detective taking the easiest explanation. A supervisor not asking follow-up questions. A system designed to close cases, not solve them. But the hidden footage changed everything. Because when the forensics team finally recovered fragments of those deleted files, just pieces, corrupted beyond full restoration, they found something the initial timeline couldn't explain. Jennifer was in the building at 8:04 p.m., not 6:47 p.m., not leaving at the time the official narrative said she left. Still there. Still in the building. Hours after the credible witness claimed to have seen her near the bridge. That means the timeline was a lie.
Man, hey fam, heads are about to roll. Now, the only question is, I'm thinking like, how much...
Not a mistake, a lie. Someone had either fabricated that witness statement.
Oh man. The family is seeking a broader set of calls and records. They believe something is out there. That is the only reason why they're doing this.
Or pressured a witness to give false information. Either way, the investigation was based on deception. And here's the part that keeps me awake at night, fam. If Jennifer was still in the building at 8:04 p.m., then what happened between 8:04 and whenever she actually vanished? Who saw her? Who was with her? Who benefits from that hour and 17 minutes disappearing from the official record? Those are the questions the police should have asked from day one. Those are the questions they still haven't answered. Because Jennifer Hartley isn't just missing anymore. She's a gap in the timeline. A blank space where evidence should be. A person whose last verified location comes from corrupted files and a recovered metadata timestamp that nobody wanted to find. The beauty of digital forensics is this.
Stop asking us whose story sounds believable. Get the records. Yeah, man.
Deletion isn't erasure. It's just concealment. And concealment requires intention. It requires someone making a choice. It requires, ultimately, a confession without words. The detective on the case retired quietly last month. He was asked about the recovered metadata in a brief interview. He said he had no recollection of the deleted files. He said the investigation was handled properly. He said a lot of things that sounded like someone reading a script someone else had written. But he didn't say he was innocent. He didn't say he was thorough. He didn't say Jennifer Hartley's disappearance was treated with the urgency it deserved. He just said he didn't remember.
The beauty of the subpoenas are, we don't have to guess anymore. Yeah, fam.
Right now, somewhere, someone knows exactly what happened to Jennifer Hartley in those hours between 8:04 p.m. and her complete disappearance. Someone knows why those files were deleted. Someone knows who the witness really was, and whether they were lying or being protected. The hidden evidence didn't prove Jennifer left voluntarily. It proved the opposite. It proved someone worked hard to make it look that way. And the only question that matters now is this: who was motivated enough to go that far? The metadata is recovered. The timeline is exposed. The lies are documented. But the truth, the actual, physical truth about what happened to Jennifer, that's still buried somewhere. With someone. Waiting. And that someone is counting on your silence.